This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio, and I am super excited today because I have two guests today, and they are fabulous. And they're also women who serve our country, and I cannot say thank you enough because, I mean, we need some amazing, we have so many amazing women in the world, and I just get to feature these two ladies today. So first, I am going to be talking with the Combat Divas of the Combat Diva podcast. So we have Tanisha. She is a Chicago native, U.S. Army veteran, single mom with a bachelor's in mass media communications. She's an honest, light succeeding in a world that has occasionally stacked the odds against her. Her story is full of darkness, rising above, healing, and maintaining her spiritual ground. Tiffany is a veteran of the U.S. Army, mother, wife, and advocate of many causes, and has been a student at both Concordia and Aurora universities. She calls the Windy City home. Tiffany is a chronic optimist who refuses to be defined by her struggles and works tirelessly to share her strengths, and these ladies are the Combat Divas, and they have a podcast, so if you want to catch that, the combatdivapodcast.net. But they are here today to talk about their new book, Survival Guide, Combat Diva Chronicles, A Boots to Heels Journey from Trauma to Triumph. Welcome to the show, ladies. How are you today?
Hi.
Hi. We're doing good.
I am so excited you're here. I was listening to your most recent podcast today, and I just love the fact that you are just lifting women up, lifting each other up, just really shooting all that empowerment vibe out in the universe, because I think there's this really bad habit that we have as women, first, not to accept compliments about our achievements, and second, to tear each other down.
For sure. It happens all too often, and I think it's just a few of our voices that we can just lift to just say a good thing about each other every once in a while. I mean, we deserve it. We really believe in empowering the women in the community, because there's so many phenomenal women doing so many great things, and we just want to uplift them.
Yeah, I mean, I've got 3 girls, and I've got a son, and I was saying that, you know, the conversation with him is a little different, and not in the sense of, I don't know, excuses or what have you, but you say, you know, this is what you might hear, and this would be a better response, you know, and I think that we're all trying to do that. It's like, I wish more women would stop saying, I'm so sorry that. I wish more would say, wow, that sucks, that happened to you, or, you know, whatever. But it's like, why are we apologizing all the time?
Like it's almost like it's our fault, and it's not our fault. You know, things just happen in life.
Yeah, and So y'all met when you were. Did you know each other before you were in the military? Or did you meet in the military?
We met in the military.
Okay.
We were on a assignment together doing a recruiting duty. We had met previously in our unit, but just kind of sort of knew who each other were. But it wasn't until we were on that assignment together to where we actually got a chance to really know each other and form a friendship.
Did the podcast come kind of, you know, we should do that, or wouldn't that be funny? Or, I mean, how did you guys get to that point?
So this is Tiffany. I retired kind of early. I had a medical retirement, and Tanisha and I would just have these conversations that took a life of their own, and we would go on and on and on. And after I got out of the military, I was looking for a way to just kind of use a platform to project my voice other than, you know, just social media. And I thought of the podcast, and I was like, I just don't want to talk to myself, so let's see what I can get. And Tanisha was like the only person who gets me. And so I was like, hey, let's do a podcast. She was like, dope, let's go, let's do it. So I was like, all right.
Let's do it. I love those like having friends like that, and you say, oh, man, we've been talking like 6 hours.
Right?
Yeah. We tried doing that around our other friends. Oh, my God. We get on their nerves. we start talking, and it could be one thing that's true, and then we just add and add and add, and all of a sudden now it's like a big story, and they're like, oh my God, you guys shut up. It's like, nah, it's funny. So.
And it sounds like my writer friends and I, when we go to a conference, alcohol may or may not be involved in these conversations, but there's a lot of brainstorming that happens and a lot of, hey, you know what we should write about? A lot of that.
That is cool.
Nope. I mean, sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes alcohol births the best. Alcohol sometimes births the best ideas. So it
does. It does. And it's fun because you start talking about all these possibilities, and some of them come true. So, I mean, some of them are just like, we should do that. So how long did you have the podcast before you decided to write the book?
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was that catalyst? How did you come about that?
This is Tiffany. I've always wanted to write a book, and once we started the podcast, it just felt more natural to do it with a partner at this. Tanisha and I started writing together just about our stories and the significance that they played in our lives, and how, even some of our stories are very vulnerable, as far as our dealings in the military, on and off the battlefield, actually, and how, those tough times led to some triumph here and there. So we really wanted to get those stories out of there. And people would always ask us on the podcast, like, man, you guys should write a book. You got a lot to say. You should write a book, And the pandemic happened and kind of opened up some time for me, I should say. And we decided to sit down and just put pen to paper and start to knock it out.
So let's go back a little bit. Were each of you big readers or writers in school?
I was. I was a big writer. I'm sorry, Tanisha. I was a big writer in school. Like when I was in fourth grade, I knew I wanted to one day be an author. It's like it was just a dream of mine, And I just kind of gave up on it after a while, but started to pick it back up later in life. But I never stopped writing. I just would help other people write their books, and so then I started to do my own. So Tanisha has a different story. Go ahead, Tanisha.
Well, in school, some of my best subjects was probably like the reading portion. I was never a big math person, so reading was good for me. It was until college to where I was more involved in like the radio broadcasting. I was involved with script writing. So the book thing was never on my list, like to-do list or a bucket list in life. But when Tiffany brought the idea, I was like, hey, we should write a book. Help me write this book. And I'm like, I'm always on board for everything. Like, sure. Like, you want to start a podcast? Sure, absolutely. You want to write a book? Sure, absolutely. I'm like on board for the adventure of it all. But my thing has been script writing, because I can just kind of like visually see dialogue and settings and all types of stuff in my head. So that's what I kind of gravitate towards.
But it's still storytelling nonetheless. I mean, it doesn't matter in what form it is.
Yeah.
It's always storytelling. It's always getting your voice out there, which is incredibly important.
So that book process was hard for me.
Yeah, that's a whole different animal for sure. So did you guys decide to self-pub, indie, or did you go through a publisher? How did you approach that idea?
We went through a small publisher she's also actually a female veteran, and the name of the publishing company is Unfeathered Inc., and we just honestly stumbled upon her on social media and reached out to her. She had some free time to take on some clients, so yeah, we just started to kind of every week get a meeting with her and kind of hammer out some writing. It wasn't the first couple months was very difficult, but after, well, you know what, it never got easy. I want to say it got easier, but it didn't.
Yeah, I feel like the wrapping up portion of it all became harder, because that's when it came down to the editing. and it gets really tedious. It's long hours, going back over the same thing 4, 5 to 10 times. So no, I don't think it got easier. Not for me, at least.
Right, at least 10 times, because you keep going. Oh God, what if I miss something, like some small word? Because spell check's not going to catch if you do there, and there, or two and two and two, or all that other stuff.
Right.
So you're just sure,
Exactly.
and then I think from what I've experienced, it's also you're so proud of this project. It's finally there, and I don't know about y'all, but it's that panic about 24 hours before it's released. It's like, what if this sucks? What if this is really awful and I made a bad mistake?
Yep. That imposter syndrome just knocked on the door and came on in. And I agonized for like 3 days before we released it. Like, I could not sleep. I feel sorry for my family. I was bitchy. I just couldn't figure it. I was just like on the edge until it came out. Then after it came out, I'm like, whatever, it's here. But right before it was really hard.
But then
I can say during that time,
fabulous.
Oh.
Yeah, your success has been fabulous. And so tell me, yeah, I mean,
but Tiffany, she was just
go ahead.
She really did. She really. I think it's like a delay, but
a little bit.
Tiffany really did agonize over and over about it, and then that's when I became the optimist. I'm like, no, it's cool. We're gonna be fine. It's cool. I'm like, I'm chilling. I'm just laid back, and she's like freaking out. I was like, no, it's gonna be cool. Just chill. Just chill.
Right.
I can't. So.
Well, but you ladies have done amazing things, amazingly brave things, amazing things in general. I mean, like when you were talking about, having babies and giving life. I mean, you guys have made it through labor and breastfeeding and shooting things and shooting. I mean, it's just like, and it's interesting because we all want to stress and do the best job possible, but y'all did it again. I mean, you just an incredibly fabulous book that would speak to not just women in the military, but women who might be considering going to the military, women who've retired from the military, and then women who are just women, just like doing the everyday stuff that we all just kind of assume we're supposed to do, but really it's an amazing journey.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
I think by telling our story in this book, we legit end up having a little something for everybody, just like how you explained, like just for everybody, going in, coming out, still in, retired, just women dating a person that's in the military, or men dating women that's in the military. It was just kind of like just for everybody, basically, a survival guide for everyone.
Right. So what are some of the biggest misconceptions that when you talk to women who are considering being in the military, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about that, about women in the military?
Oof. How much time do we have? Oh, no, I'm just joking.
We have 31 minutes, but you can come back and we can talk again.
No, one of the biggest ones are that all women in the military are like lesbians or like this book kind of character. There's no way we could, or we're terrible moms because we can't get back to our family every day. That's a big
right.
Tanisha, you got some more? There's a lot of them running through my head.
Misconceptions of female journal. I guess more like that we are somehow 100 times tougher than like the average woman. Like we're not, almost like we're not human beings. So it's like we're not supposed to feel this, or we're not supposed to feel that. But it's like, no, we just, a person that signed up to serve our country, but we feel and have feelings just like everybody else. It's just that sometimes those can be suppressed to give an idea like we're not necessarily like regular females, but we still feel what everybody else feels that's not in the service.
Right. Well, you guys are dealing with some heavy stuff.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a heavy job, and I thank you a million times over for doing it. What was each of y'all's journey to enlist or go into the military? Were you ROTC in school? What was that process?
I was in college actually when I joined. I honestly just couldn't pay for college anymore. My grandparents raised me, and they were starting to get on a fixed income, and I couldn't really rely on them. And I was working a job, but that wasn't doing it. So this smooth talking recruiter was like, "Hey, I can solve your problem." And so before I knew it, I was enlisting and not really understanding the full scope of what I was doing, but once I got in, I cursed his name every day. Every day.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm like, yep. For me, mine was I was still in high school. I was 17 when I decided to join. It was about 6 months before I graduated high school. And my mom, she's a single parent raising both me and my older brother. And she was like, I can't really afford to send you to school. I wouldn't suggest that you do student loans, but find the money. So if it was like grants or whatever you could do, find the money. And I was doing like the college fair that they had a few colleges visit school, and then I saw the table for the National Guard. And at first, it started off me just wanting a pencil, the little camouflage cool pencil or whatever. So it was so silly. And I looked at the pencil, and it was like, and it said 100% tuition to college. And I was like, well, there we go. We found the money. And next thing I know, I was taking the test, and my mom was signing consent for me to join.
It's a blur after you decide to join. Everything goes so quickly.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah,
my dad. They get out the door really quick.
They do. Yeah, my dad talked about that. He was very angry with his dad and went down to the local recruiter's office in 1960 and said, I'm out of here. They're like, great, we've got a place we can send you. So he signed up for the Navy, and he said the second day of boot camp, his DI kicked him down a flight of stairs.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and he said, oh, man, I got 4 years left. Yeah, you do. He said, but he needed it. It was good, kind of straightened him out. But it's definitely a different world, and definitely a commitment. I mean, you know, it's not like college where you're like, I don't think I'll do this now. It's like, you're not going anywhere. You stay.
Yeah, you don't have any decisions to make. Yeah,
right. You don't. Right. In college, you can just walk out of a classroom when you're bored. Like me, I did that in college. I was like, I'm bored. I'm tired. I'm hungry, and I just leave. But the military, like when you're in training or just deployed, there's no just, I'm sick of this. I'm just gonna go home. Right? It's a wrap.
You stuck.
You're stuck.
Hey, we talk about this in the book. How I was terrible. Both of us actually we sucked at basic training. Tanisha was a little bit better, but I was like a walking catastrophe. Like I bust my nose open. I got everybody in trouble over and over again. I was not a good soldier. It took a while for me to kind of understand how to play the game and be a good soldier. So, but boot camp was terrible for me.
Yeah, I had attitude problems, so boot camp wasn't great.
In the book, what is your favorite part? Like, what's your favorite story in the book?
Go ahead. Sorry, Tanisha.
It's a delay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, my favorite is we have a chapter entitled "Broken but Not Forgotten," and I think we get the most vulnerable in that chapter, and that could be why it's like our baby almost, you know, or my baby.
Sure.
Because we talk about I talk about substance abuse in that chapter, how I suffered with addiction and substance abuse, and how we night terrors, how they began, and PTSD, how that began. So we talk about how the military did take a toll on us, but I mean how we overcome it, and we're overcoming it and figuring out tools to do so. But it gets really vulnerable, and I think it gets really intense in that chapter for us.
Okay.
Well, mine would be with the "I Am Not My Hair." That section of it. I mean, another part I do get very vulnerable and pull up like things that's still kind of traumatic that I'm still working through. I've gotten better working through it now today, but I got a chance to just really rage out and get angry and talk about what happened with me and going blind and having to fight leadership and taking everything all the way up the chain of command for the hair standards. That was kind of my favorite part of being able to get all of that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, she kind of talks about being a woman of color in uniform, and it's pretty much a chapter on race relations, like how we dealt with being African American, women of color in the military. That's a different echelon of it. So,
right. And that was actually going to be my next question with y'all. Is there's different layers of challenges. Being a woman in the military, but being a woman of color in the military is also its own challenge.
Yeah, because we're battling a constant series of stereotypes and trying to prove the stereotypes incorrect or, making a big joke out of it. And we talk about how we went from, that's how we learned to deal with race relations almost. We had this banter about stereotypes, and so we could figure out, what was real and what wasn't, and how we can relate to each other. The various races in the military, and it is so inappropriate, and we forget that we do it sometimes. So when we're civilians and we're just like, oh, chicken, black people must love that, and then like everybody looks at us like, what? It's like, we're in the military. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
and we don't know how to deal with it.
People tend to get offended. They get offended for us, and then we're not offended. But people get offended for us, and that'd be the funny part. We'd be like, oh, we probably should just dial it down some in front of regular, civilian people and stuff, because they would be ready to call on a march or whatever just for our sake, and we're like, hey, it's funny. But that probably could be part of the problem too. So we don't try not to perpetuate it so much. But it's kind of like our coping mechanism. That's how we cope in the military. Backwards, but
for sure. It's not the same thing, but I know that when I was a trauma nurse and then I worked ER for adults mostly, and then I did pediatric, there would be times that we would all be saying stuff, and we all knew if anybody outside that bubble who wasn't in medicine was listening, they'd be like, y'all all should go to jail. I mean, y'all are awful people.
No,
but it
right.
was.
We talk about you guys too, like nurses and EMTs. Like everybody has like this culture and bubble that we're safe in, and we could just say stuff because it's a stressful job. Being a trauma nurse has to be, especially a pediatric nurse as well. It's stressful. How do you relieve that stress sometimes? You got to joke about it. Some dark humor there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I could call my dad because he was in the Corps, and so he would talk about stuff that they'd talk about, and this is way before anybody like really was totally honest. Well, maybe they were totally honest at the time, and people were not saying anything if they were offended. But I mean, the early '60s, and so
now,
now
it's offended.
Well, and that's part of the frustration is it's like I've talked to my kids. I'm like, just be honest. Just own what you say and be honest. Ask the questions and do it in a respectful way. And if you're not and someone says that's not respectful, you say, okay, please, I'm very sorry I did that, but I do want to have this conversation. Can we, something?
Right.
Because you can't learn if you don't ask. And it's like people are afraid to ask.
That's right. And we're living in that day. And that's the hard part about writing now too, right? Because you have to double check and see if you offended anybody. So it's like, that was like a whole part of the editing process. Okay, let's look for offenses. Like, did we dramatically offend any group? And one in our racial paragraph, I mean, somebody will be offended. You can't help it. But we try to cover all the bases, but somebody's going to be offended by something said in there. And you have to get to a point in this, especially in our writing, we got to a point where, forget it. We'll do it later.
But it's your story. You should tell your story the way you see it.
I was just going to say that, yes. It's our story. It's like, if it happens to us just the way you're saying it happened, I'm sorry if you get offended, but it's just what happened. We just telling our details. We're not openly trying to force a joke or anything like that, because for the most part it's something that was already said to us.
Right.
That's
right. Yeah, when I was working in the ER, we had we always knew who was really uptight in medical records, because I would, a lot of times being a writer, I would end up being the recorder during the codes or whatever, or if we'd have like crazy stuff come in. And so I'd be writing, and I would say, patient says, quote, y'all suck and I hope you all die, and other words, and I would put it in quotes, right? And you would have someone come down, and there was another guy. He was an he was paramedic, but he was also a nurse. This is an old guy, and he was great. And he'd come down, and he's like, oh, well, medical records was upset about something you wrote. I was like, well, what is it? And it's because I quoted the actual what they were saying, and it could be really colorful. Yeah, especially like on a Saturday at 2 a.m. So they would say, can you just say patient uses profanity? I said, no, because in court, I don't, you can't just be general. You have to be specific.
Yeah.
And they said, well, can you just say F blank blank K? And I said, and we're like, that's not what they said. That's not what they said.
They did not say F blank blank.
They didn't say blank 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 blank.
They did not. I will be writing exactly what was said. They were just like, oh.
I love that.
Yeah. It's like, stop coming down here. Stay in your office.
Like, because if you blank it, you don't even remember what they said after that. Because you're like, wait, blank, what would they really say? No, like you want to write down what they said so you remember.
Right. If it's grammatically incorrect, okay. And if I used the wrong word, sure. But, I mean, that's what they said. Don't correct anything else. So, believe me, your attorneys will be so happy.
Exactly.
I love it.
Blank. It's hilarious.
So were you guys able to get all the stories you wanted to get in the book? I mean, can we anticipate a second book? Maybe even a workbook? Or, dare I say, speaking engagements?
Ooh.
Well, Tiffany loves the speaking engagement. Me, I usually like the wing. I could be the wing person on the speaking engagement with Tiffany, but speaking engagement, that's her wheelhouse, like that. The speaking part. Me, I have to like warm up into it and get a warm and fuzzy, and then I'm firing off on all cylinders. But oof,
I
anxiety
dream of a TED Talk,
TED Talk,
love
exactly.
Speaking engagement. Yeah. I love a few. We have a few coming up, actually, this year. But the speaking engagement, yes. The second book, absolutely. We've already started working on that, actually, and we're going back and forth and working on the script with Tanisha. She's amazing in the area as far as script writing, and it's her dream to get that script out, and I want to help as much as I can. And so we're working on that as well. And so yes, book 2, and the workbook is actually a good idea. So I don't know, maybe a workbook. I hadn't thought about it.
I mean,
that's a good idea. I didn't think about it.
Or a journal.
I think that's a good idea.
You could do a journal.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So that might be like a supplemental guide later on this year. We'll see.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited. So the response that you've had, I've been reading your reviews and posts, and people have been putting these amazing stuff. What has been the most surprising, positive response that you've had? Because you had talked about before about, with your other podcast about how people had posted negative crap, and it's like, you're not listening and you're not our audience, right? So we're not going to change your mind because you're insert F U K, whatever, blank. So, but what has been the most positive response you've had that was unexpected?
I would say from a male reader, and he read it, and he said that he had his mind made up about like how women in the military go about doing things. He's had served, And he had his mind made up, and he actually said that some of the reading helped him to open his mind up about a few things. He was a very, he says a masculine guy, whatever. But
sure.
he was really not accepting of women in leadership, and he had his doubts about it. And after reading it, he really changed his tune, and that was actually a surprise for me. And I was pleased to hear that. So.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
My first grade teacher, she sent me a message after going. She literally just read through the entire book within like maybe 2 days.
Okay.
And she was raving about it to me, and it was just like the way she was saying, like, oh, I had no idea. Because me and my first grade teacher, we kind of kept in touch over the years. And we would have conversations about my experiences, but she was like, she said she just saw a whole different side of me that she didn't even know anything about, and she was just in awe in a good way. So
right,
that was surprising to me.
Yeah, my grandma surprised. There's some things in here that I've never talked about ever in life. Like no one, maybe only a few close friends knew that I had a substance abuse kind of problem. And nobody even knew about, I had a suicide scare. No one knew about that, but it's in the book. And so my grandma was reading it, and she was just, every chapter she was calling me crying. Oh, my God, I can't believe you went through this. And then she read another chapter. Oh, my God. Like, every chapter she was just like appalled. And she had no idea. Some of the stuff made her cringe, of course, because she's a grandma. She's like, I can't believe you did that. But she was very into it, and she was thankful that she had that kind of look into our lives. So that was pretty cool too.
Was it easier to write it down and put it in the book than to sit down and tell her that face to face? And the second part of that question is, was it cathartic to write it all down?
It was very cathartic to write it all down, especially these stories that I've never even told before. Like, there's one story in there where I talk about nightmares that I have about a young man who was killed overseas, a young boy. And I never even talked about that before. One time in my therapist, and that's it. And it was just so cathartic to write that down and get that out. And I felt that it wasn't significant initially, which is why I don't talk about it, because it's not like, I was blown up or anything. But I don't know, knowing that he was killed, it really... I don't know. It bugged me. It really bugged me. So we talked about that through in therapy, and talking about it in the book really opened up a lot for me. It's so cathartic, and it just really it's always scary being so vulnerable, so transparent. But I was happy I did it, because I'm always cringing now every time somebody tells me that they read the book. Like, I read that part where it's like I feel cringe, but it's good though.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine how many people you've helped going through this. Y'all have helped, just in general.
Yeah, and that's the exciting part of it, when people do send us back messages talking about, how much it helped them and how they felt like they wasn't alone and how they went through similar situations, and it was like a breath of fresh air, or it was an eye-opener. And, like, when we read stuff like that, like, we've had so many positive reviews. I haven't heard anything negative about the book. Like, not even about the cover, the words, just anything. Everything has been positive about the book. So that's been the exciting part, because, of course, you putting your words out there, you putting your stories out there, and you don't know if somebody's going to talk to the side like, oh, freaking amateurs or whatever. And to know that it's so well received, we are just, taken aback by it,
Yeah. When you were writing, because there were times that I would come home from the emergency room and I'd talk to my mom every once, and I'd tell her, she's like, you're making this up. I mean, when you're writing the story, were there times you're like, no one's going to believe this happened? Like, you're writing this in this one part, and you say, we're going to put it in here, but no one's going to believe it, that happened.
Every chapter we have something in there that we know no one would believe this. Like, this couldn't have really happened. Like, there's a chapter we talk about relationships, and ironically, both Tanisha and I were dealing with PTSD when we came home, and we almost hit our exes with a car. And I don't think we even knew this until we started writing the book. And it's like, nobody's going to believe that we both wanted to hit our exes with a car. Well, Tanisha actually hit her ex with a car. I missed my ex. But,
I did not.
No, sure. But we're like, nobody's going to believe it. Every chapter, it's like, nobody's going to believe it. Nobody's going to believe it.
There wasn't a car.
It's just crazy.
I tried to stab him. It was different.
You hit the back of the car. Whatever. You got to read it.
Okay. Well, it's ironic you say that. I was laughing because I started watching the show. It was a series on, I guess it was CBS, but it was called Why Women Kill. And it's like basically about this house that like these three different couples have lived in over like 50 years, and these crazy situations that happen. And Jennifer Goodwin's in it. She was in Once Upon a Time and Big Love, and she's done a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I love her.
And
I love her.
she's the 50s housewife, and so she's like completely, outwardly looks perfect, but she's completely insane. And there's a part in it where she's sitting there and her husband's like, "Penny, for your thoughts." She's like, "Just wondering when you'll die." So he's like, "What?"
"Oh, I need to watch this."
Yeah. And she's like, he's like, "Well, I'm not going to die anytime soon." And she's like, "You don't know that. You could like be hit by a car. You could be stabbed in the chest. You could choke on a pimento."
Oh my
God.
She was obsessed with ways for him to die. Oh my God.
There is a reason that you find out very quickly why. But it really is fantastically done. It's on Amazon Prime. You can also get it on Apple, and it was about $25 for the season. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So,
wait,
all the couples. It's called Why Women Kill. Yeah, and it's
putting it on my list.
Yeah. And it's the same house, but three different couples over a period of like 50 years. So, and it's got one, Lucy Liu is the 80s one, and my daughter was watching it with me. She's 17, and I looked at her and said, "Oh my God, this just looks embarrassing now," because I was graduated from high school in '86, and so I'm just looking at it going, "Oh, that pink and that electric blue and the shoulder pads," and it's like, "Oh wow."
Ooh.
And we thought we were awesome.
I was like, "Wow, you guys."
I know. She's like,
Tiffany,
"What
were you
is
born
this?"
in '86? No, I'm just kidding.
You're making me feel old, ladies.
Sorry. Sorry. I couldn't help it. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It happens all the time. I actually have a really good friend of mine. We were talking, and I said, she's like, "Oh, it's my birthday next week." And I said, "Oh, really? How old you can be?" She goes, 37. I'm so old. And I went, "I don't want to hear it." I said, "I could literally be your mother." She's like, "No, you couldn't." I was like, "Yes, I could."
I love it.
I would have been a young mother, but I could.
Yeah.
So there you are. What let me think how I had the question, then it just like completely went out of my brain. So Tiffany, you are still in the military, or no? Tanisha's still in the military.
No, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So are you stateside right now? Or are you deployed?
Stateside, National Guard. So it's just part time now. It's once we're not deployed, it's just go back to 1 weekend a month.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But yeah.
So yeah. And then that paid for you were talking about y'all finished school and you've got babies, and I mean there's a lot going on. So it's not like life, quote unquote, slowed down after you got when you've done your commitment for the weekend or whatever. I mean, it keeps going. There's no downtime because you've got all this stuff going on.
Absolutely. It's like once that weekend is up, then it's back to your civilian job 5 days a week, and then of course you're a mom 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Right.
So that stuff just never lets up. Sometimes you get a moment to maybe get away with some friends and talk crap about your family and drink and tell jokes. But we need more of those because we're trying to form a book club, so we need more of those, mom moments to where we all can just kind of like sit around and just take a break. But it just never slows. I feel like it never slows down.
No, it never slows. My husband, every year it's like, what do you want for Mother's Day? And I'm like, I don't know, because after a while you're just like, I want people to leave me alone. That's what I want. Exactly. That was one year. He said, what do you want? I said, you know what I really want? I want no one to want anything from me for 12 hours. I want to sit in my bed all day and watch movies and nobody ask me for anything for 12 hours.
Yeah.
It was the best Mother's Day ever. He looked at me like, really? I'm like, yes. Yes.
I love that. Put some
I kept hearing, what are you doing?
Done.
Yeah, that happened when my dad actually, I grew up in Houston, so my dad actually loaded us kids in the car and Mother's Day morning and just drove us to Galveston, and Mom was home by herself all day. And he came home. He's like, "Are you okay?" Like, he knew she was stressed, but he, took us to kind of. But he was really worried. She was like, "No, that was the best Mother's Day ever," because she was like, got to eat Cheez-Its by herself, sitting there, didn't have to share. So
nice.
So anyone listening, that's a great Mother's Day gift. Like hours of no interruption. Just leave people alone. There you go.
Just imagine like your self-esteem as a kid. Be like, oh my God, it's the best Mother's Day ever. But you like, well, we were gone away from you, Mommy. She's like,
I know. You have to balance it. You gotta, when they're a little older, okay, here's the deal. When they're little, it's hard. They don't quite get it. Yeah.
Right. But when they become parents, they get it. And they get it quick.
Oh, they do.
Okay, I get it now. My mom was like, my best day was not having responsibility and not worried about anybody, who's going to eat what and who's going to go where. It was, they'll appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I had a cousin when she was about 13. She's like, I can't wait till I'm 18. I get to do what I want. I said, well, we'll see how that turns out, sweetie. And she had a baby at 19, and I remember calling her. I'm like, no. I didn't call to badger at all. I wasn't going to be mean. And I was like, how you doing? Okay. She's like, I did not sign up for adulthood. I'm like, I know. Happened anyway.
She's like, you didn't think that one little... That one fun night, it just turned into just 18 years plus of chaos. So you're welcome.
That's right. Yeah, there you go. You're welcome. And she loves her kids. It's just she laughs about it now. She's just like, yeah, that was really narrow. I went, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But you can't lecture anyone when they're 13. Yeah, you can't lecture anyone when they're 13. I mean, you can, set parameters, and hopefully they stick sort of close to them. But, I mean, they know everything they need to know at 13. So.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Just like, no, this is not working. Okay.
I just find it funny. It's like I can do whatever I want as soon as I turn 18, and then you're pregnant at 19, and it's like, well, you did want to do whatever you wanted to do.
Ta-da!
Start over for it.
Yes. So, for anybody who's been listening, this has been Patricia Fisher with the Combat Divas and the Combat Diva podcast with Tanisha and Tiffany. Their book is out now, and you should pick it up. Combat Diva Chronicles, Survival Guide, A Boots to Heels Journey from Trauma to Triumph. You can find them at the combatdivapodcast.net, and I have the links of their social media and their buy links and everything in the write-up of the show. And please come back and talk to me again when next book is out, or workbooks, or anything else. I am super excited for you too. Yeah, it's been so much fun. Thank you so much. Absolutely. And this has been Patricia W. Fisher. Yeah. This has been Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio. Everybody keep on reading and stay safe out there.
This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions. www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.